my renewal came up and my home insurance policy went up about $300. And I wanted to figure out what I could do to do that. And so I figured I'd shop the insurance policy and show you guys what I come up with. So this was a recent policy that I had with our system that we quote here in Michigan. And here's basically what I have. So if I go to my policy, I'm going to change the effective date to today. So the last time I shopped it was back in September of 2016. I'm going to go ahead and change the date to today. Actually, I'm going to go out because I know that I get an earlier shopper discount if I go out about 10 days with everybody, 7 days with most. So I'm going to actually go out to, I'll just say the beginning of next month. So it goes out quite a few days. So in my case, it's 3/1. Okay, got that. And then I have to say that my effective date is the same because now my system thinks that I have had a lapse. So if you have a lapse in insurance, it doesn't matter what state, minus a couple states like California, there is an extra cost for that because the risk is higher. Now, my liability limits I carry, like we talked about in several videos, is $250,000 per person, $500,000 per accident. So if I were to injure somebody. And I have had the insurance, actually, honestly, I've only been with this new one for about a year, and I expected that. So my last one I was with for about 7 years, and that was great, but because the rates have changed, I actually got a way better deal with the one I have now. So overall, I saved myself a couple $100, but it went back up. So I'm not super worried about it because I got the savings in the front end. So we've got me and my wife, got a 09 Traverse and a Honda Odyssey. As far as claims, I don't believe I have any claims left. I had one in February of 2018, so 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So in February, so yesterday, that claim has come off my record. So that's actually something that would be interesting. So that might be one of the reasons I might get a cheaper deals because that literally is gone. It's 5 years in our state and it no longer counts, so I can delete this. Had a comprehensive loss previous to that, so you'll see this is why it's being highlighted saying, hey, you can't rate these because that is no longer a claim that's rateable in your state. So we're going to take those off. I did have one claim in May of 2017. So that was an at-fault accident where I rear-ended somebody. No one was injured. Apparently, I got a failure to our following too closely. Basically, a truck ran into the intersection, a emergency truck. The guy in front of me stopped. I stopped. My car just didn't stop fast enough. So in that case, I'm too close to them, hit them, $3,000 worth of damage. Nothing major, but it's still an at-fault accident, which can affect my rate. So we've got my coverage. I'm not going to go too far in depth with this. I just wanted to show you kind of what the rates would be compared to what I'm getting today. I've got unlimited medical in my state, and I've got full coverage on my cars. I believe I do a $250 on comprehensive now, $500 on collision. We've got towing and road service. Now, the company I'm with actually has a better rental car, so I'm going to bump this up. It's actually a $3,000 rental car, just flat out. There's no $50 per day coverage. So we're going to mimic these coverages, and I'm just going to copy them from one vehicle to the next. And that's basically all I need to do to check the rates. The way that a lot of these insurance agents do this is they've got a ton of questions. So each company, like Allstate, wants to know certain information. Do they qualify for this? Foremost wants to know certain information. Nationwide wants to know certain information. And a lot of these is like, hey, have they gone to college? Are they an alumni? Are there discounts we can give them? Do they have their own health medical? So these are important questions that agents should be going over with a customer to ask to get the best prices. There's also a big thing that we talk about, which is credit and in your insurance score. And your insurance/credit score makes a very large difference. So if you have an agent that knows what they're doing, you'll notice here in the top right, there's an option to switch the applicant. So I have the option inside of my quoting platform to make my wife the primary driver and me the secondary because maybe her insurance score or credit score is better than mine. So if you are married and that is a situation where you are shopping around, it might make sense for that agent to check around and see if that's an option for you. So here's what we've got. Safeco is giving me an alternate quote, which is like a paid in full, early shopper. You're doing telematics. It's every discount they can think under the sun. They're giving you their best price. If I don't go with their best price and I just stick with what they have, it's about $1,900.46, which is honestly the company that I'm with, and that's about what I'm paying. So that's pretty cool to see that it's still accurate. The home is the part that went up on me, and so we need to check the home prices. So my home was about $1,200, $1,250-ish every year, and it's gone to $1,500 right now. It's a little bit higher than normal. It's even the average is about $1,250 or $1,280 is the national average. But because of that, I still think that I could get a better deal. Well, here we go. Apart from these companies, my next best is to go with Progressive, which is actually saying it's $300 more. Foremost, which in our system is not usually correct, but it's about the same as Progressive. And Allstate is just really high in my area. We've got Encompass, which is an Allstate company, I believe, and we've got Nationwide. So Nationwide was the most competitive, but they're still more expensive on my home. Let's see what happens if I switch the two of us from me to my wife and see if these prices changed. Now remember, we were about $1,900, $1,920-ish per year if we did the car insurance together. Just me as the primary, her as the secondary. I got a feeling I have a better insurance score than she does, not because I'm an insurance agent, just because my credit has a lot more open credit than hers does. So I have a lot of credit that's not being used, which helps your insurance. And there you go. For her, Safeco, you'll notice, didn't even offer the best. Let's see if it does it still. I don't believe Safeco is going to offer us that top tier every discount they want under the sun, because they're kind of like, I don't know if we want this as much as we did with the other person. So in her case, it's cheaper to go with Progressive, which was about the same price, and it's actually cheaper if I did a paid in full. If I go into Progressive, odds are I'll probably get a few more discounts because they do offer that alt quote, which is the paid in full, doing the telematics, pushing the policy out, which they don't care about in our state so much with Progressive. But Safeco was almost $400 more for the exact same policy, just having my wife before me. Hopefully this was helpful. I wanted to show you guys just kind of what it looks like on the agent's end when somebody's shopping you. Now, each company has different rules and guidelines and all of that, and some agents just type them in by hand. You'll notice that Nationwide didn't give me a price on the auto because with our agency, we're finalizing our direct appointment with them. And what that means is they're not on our rating software, so I would have to manually go to their website, type up the auto quote, which we do almost every time, but you almost learn whether they're competitive or not. So certain people in certain profiles, certain situations, we know that they're going to be a good fit. So in that case, we're going to take that extra step and quote it with them. If not, and if I've got the rate that I'm looking for, Safeco or Progressive or Allstate or Nationwide or whichever company comes back and is competitive, that gives me an idea that they're a good fit, or at least they're a good profile fit for that company. Here's where you run into some problems, where if you've ever been on the phone with an agent and they're like, okay, this is a great rate, let's do it, and you go to do it, but then the price changes. So remember, I typed in that accent that I had. If I didn't know the exact date, the exact claim, or if something was different than that, sometimes it even duplicates itself and pulls in incorrectly. So there's a lot of reports that have to be run on the back end to verify all the pricing. When that happens, what the agents will typically do is try to understand and read what's going on and figure out if this was a legitimate change, and if not, they can get it fixed. If it was something that changed, that's why you see the pricing being pushed out at one price. They go based off of what you say versus what's on the report. But Mark, why aren't they just pulling the report? Well, that report is about $12 per person, at least it was when I was looking last, to run those. And if you ran those on 100 people a month, you're now paying $1,200 a month as an agency just based on people that aren't necessarily buying. You almost need that commitment from a customer to go forward and say, let's check that next step. If it's good, I'm going to purchase this. Keep in mind, there are a ton of discounts that I didn't go over specifically in this because they're already plugged into my profile. I'm going to put a link in the description below if you're interested in getting one of these quotes as well for you in whichever state that you're in. I'm also going to put a video here that you may want to watch that will go over the actual discounts that are in this system. What are the ones that you can qualify for, that you already qualify for, and how do you get those? If not, and you're new to insurance, I'll put my Car Insurance 101 right over here. Go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, I'm Mark with Think Insurance. I'll see you in the next one.